All right, what's up, y'all? So lately, people been coming to me and they've been talking about relationships and they've been talking about like I don't know. A lot of people are like losing things. Like it can be they're losing their homes, they're losing their wives, they're losing their husbands, they're losing friends, uh, which is really common with myself. I had to separate myself from certain people. Um, then they have a lot of problems at work. And it's a lot of stuff out there, man, that I feel like is hitting people all at the same time, like, at this particular time in our lives, because it ain't nothing but a distraction. So you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You feel me? You know what I mean? Because like it's like Christians use a term. They kind of use this concept of like nakedness, right? Like shame. And for the people that know the Bible, you know, I don't really have to explain this to you, but for the people that don't know the Bible, for the people that don't read the Bible, most people know that who Adam and Eve is, right? The first humans. And they know that they were in the garden and they know the story about the tree and how they bit into the apple when they weren't supposed to, and they knew about the snake in the garden, which is supposed to be symbolic to Satan. But also, snakes are also symbolic to Jesus because they actually use him as another symbol. They use a serpent to identify wisdom too. That's why Jesus says to be wise as serpents is gentle as doves, right? We're going to get into that later, but I want to talk about being alone in Christ, right? Because a lot of people knew that people loved Jesus, but it was a lot of people that hated on him because it's a lot of haters out there. And people tell you, oh, that's how you know you're doing something right if you have haters. But really, you really don't want haters. You want people to be cool with being okay with being themselves. A lot of the people that hate on you are people that have something going on with themselves because they either think that somebody owes them something that they did not get as a kid or by their parents, you know what I mean? And probably, sometimes it don't got nothing to do with that. Some people just don't like being around a bunch of people and they like having time to themselves like I do. You know what I mean? So I think that it's different for some people. But what I'm gonna talk about is knowing how to separate yourself from everything that is anti you, that is anti Christ, and they don't really give you anything to benefit from but a headache and drama. And sometimes there's a time where you have to stop messing with yourself and doing it your way and just leaving things to the God of all things, right? The reason why I said like that, the God of all things, is because the actual God, the real God, actually has us all here living in the same world with people that we don't like and the people that we do like, things that can kill us and things that can heal us, right? We exist in this void, in this space where all of these things can exist. Even people who worship idols, even people who do evil, even people that do good, even people that love God, right? And you ask yourself, well, why is it that we all exist here. Well, I didn't create all of this, but what I can tell you is that the fact that we can breathe the same air, that is, um, to me, that's mercy, right? You can literally breathe in the same air that somebody is breathing in, that somebody that actually hates you. And the person that loves you, you can breathe their air in when you hate them. That's telling you a lot about our God right there, right? So, what I'm trying to say is that as freely as air is given and life is given, it's fair that you give life back because we're only borrowing this. But one day we're going to take our last breath and we out of here. Your body's not going to be forever. The people in your life ain't going to be forever. You feel me? When you worried about what you're going to lose, and just like my ex-girlfriend, right? When I was with her, I was looking for help. I was desperate for help. So I went to my grandma and I asked her a question. What should I do? Because, man, she's talking about, she don't want to be with me anymore. Because we just kept bumping heads. And she said something to me. She said, well, I got a perfect thing for you to think about. Did she give you life or did Jehovah give you life? And I'm like, come on, man. She don't care. She don't care about because it's not a relationship, right? Don't you know, after I cried my eyes out and I got over it, that was the best thing she could have told me, man. Because that's true. Why are you putting yourself under the sword of somebody else? And why are you worried about the materialistic things that you are going to lose because you're only borrowing these things? And the reason why you so weak is because of all the things that you have make you weak. I'll give you an example. If you say how tall somebody is, right? Or you say like how tall a house is or how high a house is, right? Height can only be defined by its base, which is the ground, right? You cannot fall if you already fell. If you're down on the ground, you cannot fall. So the fact that you so used to having and you can't get your nose, like my grandfather used to tell me because I used to follow behind my friends all the time. And he didn't sugarcoat nothing. He said, man, you always got your nose up their asses. You can't do anything by yourself. You always following behind him. But he was right. Now I get to the point now that, he's passed on and he's with God now. I'm seeing this clearer, all this stuff that he's talking about. Because now I find myself where I really can't stand to be around anybody. So I'm going into my solitude version of Christ because there was a time where it said that Jesus did not walk as a Jew because he couldn't because his own people was hating on him. He didn't even want no parts of that. So what I'm trying to say is he still loved him. He still had love for him because he's Jesus. He's perfect, right? So he still had love for him, but even he had to step away. So that's telling you. And then there's also a time, which I explained in the other video, before they killed Jesus, they made him carry his own cross on his back to his own death. And even it was too much to bear. So it was a man named Simon of Cyrene, who a lot of people believe to be an African man, gave the cross to him to help him carry. Right? Where the Roman soldiers, they just grabbed the dude out of the crowd and then they made him carry it. But we know that it can only be ordained by God himself for him to be put in that moment by fate to do that, right? That's why Jesus says to Pilate, the high official that was threatening Jesus when Jesus was being asked questions by Pilate, and Pilate was saying, "You ain't gonna answer me? Don't you know I have power to crucify you?" And Jesus tells him, "You have no power at all unless it's given by God. God allowed you to be in this position to stand before me and put me on trial. So you think you have sin, but God has the greater sin." This is Jesus saying this. Because what sin is symbolic to death, right? I'm not trying to go sidetrack and like derail and go somewhere else because I know it's about being alone, but I'm trying to show y'all something. I don't got a bunch of friends. I don't got a bunch of people I hang around. It's to the point where my Adam 1 side desires to have a wife one day, right? A family, right? Friends. I enjoy women too. It's a lot of beautiful women I see all the time, right? But because I'm sick of the world's ways, I love people but hate their ways. I'm to the point where I'm like Adam too. I'm like Christ. Because it's like I love y'all, but I really don't want any of the things that I want. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that for all of y'all that's watching this now, y'all scared of what y'all gonna lose when really you only wanted it because there was a time where you didn't even know nothing about the things that you have now and you weren't worried about it. When you were a baby, you wasn't caring about having all of these people as your friend. You just adopted the things of the world and these desires. A lot of the things that you desire ain't even things that you really desire. It was just conditioned. You were conditioned. You think a baby just came out of the womb, now he's craving oatmeal, or he's craving the alcohol, or the weed, or the cocaine, or any of these lusts. He's thinking about women, or whatever, or she, or whatever. Or you say, "Oh, I like this taste of music." A lot of this stuff, you like Al Green and Michael Jackson because that's the soundtrack of your life. You were just kind of hearing this stuff in the background because you're around people that influenced you. That's the key thing, influences, right? So, love the people, love all the things that God gave you, but don't be bound by it. Because literally, I can die like right after I'm done with this, and I'll be okay. Because at the end of the day, it's like Xavier, like, why do you talk about this? Why do you talk about all this stuff, right? Why do you talk about death and all of that stuff? Because you have to get to the point like Yeshua, Jesus, he didn't fear death. And what I'm saying that is, he did in a sense of his man side, right? Like, I don't want to die. But his higher self, which is God, right? Because God is a part of us. That's why we're living now. He is with him already, even though he was here on earth. And he was trying to tell us to be just like him, right? All of this stuff, your flesh, all of this stuff that you deal with, it is as perishable as the items in grandma's grocery bag. The same way the vegetables, all that stuff can decompose and whatever, and it can be destroyed and it can be spoiled. A lot of y'all spoiled with stuff. A lot of y'all already spoiled. You feel me? It's like if you got a bunch of bananas, right? And they overly ripe. You know, you know how that is. When you got bananas that you left up there for hella long. Now it's overripe. Now it's too damn ripe. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is you can be spoiled. You can be so sweet. You just say blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That's good enough if you're rich, right? But when you can be okay with not having when you can be okay with not having anything, when you can be okay with being deprived, because when they talked about Jesus in Isaiah 53, they were talking about a tender root that sprouts out, kind of like a flower, kind of like a plant. It sprouted out from a dry ground. A dry ground is something that's deprived, right? Like poverty, like in the hood. Little Nazareth was like Oakland because they said, does anything good come out of Nazareth? A lot of people didn't think so. But Jesus came out from Nazareth. Okay. So a lot of y'all, when Jesus talks about to his disciples, he says, don't worry about your clothes. Don't worry about what you're going to eat. If God takes care of the wildlife, like the birds, and you see how they always find food, they'll always find food, right? Aren't you worth more than they? So if he's taking care of them, he's going to take care of you. You shouldn't be tripping off of it. Speaking of birds, I have a lot of crows that love chilling out by my house. I look as crows, uh, blackbirds as spiritual because they're messengers. Even though Hollywood gives them a bad stigma, but that's Hollywood. They always do that with everything. But really, when I see it, I think of Jesus when I see blackbirds or any bird for that matter, anything that has life in it. So one thing I notice is that when the birds fly, they always drop feathers. They never cry off of the feathers that they drop. The only people that cry off of things that detach from them is humans. Because y'all believe that those feathers is making the bird fly. And scientifically, it might be part of it, but the real thing that's making them fly, in order to flap their wings and get up in the morning and go hunt, they got to do what first? They got to first wake up. So that is priority. That's the thing that comes first. That's primary before anything. You be praying about things that you want, but first you got to thank God the fact that you woke up, because for you to enjoy the money and the woman and the house and to get into the college that you want to get into and to get the degrees and do anything, is you got to wake up first, right? And you think that the world is out of pocket because they have not rightfully gave you what you think you deserve. But I'm here to say that y'all hella out of pocket for not thanking God that you woke up today. So you want the most, but you don't want to do the least. And you don't want to do right. That's why a lot of y'all gonna be left. So, and I'm saying this not as somebody that's perfect. I'm tempted by a lot of things, but I always got to meditate on Christ to pull out of all that stuff, because all of it is just a distraction. The devil been a sucker since day one. He only attacks people when they at their lowest. He a sucker. That's why Jesus ran up on him, because he thought, oh, I got the cross. I can crucify you. And Jesus was like, what's up then? All right. Jesus told his homies, hey, look, the flesh is weak, but the soul is willing. They can destroy the body, but they cannot kill me. They can't kill the spirit. So that tell you right there. That's why every time you're in a relationship with somebody, they always threaten to leave you, right? Oh, I'll take this. You got a kid with them. I'll take the kids, or they they threaten to go cheat on you or whatever. That's Satan. That's just the sucker. But because you got Christ in you, you like, I got everything. Because Jesus was deprived. Do you forget that he fasted And then he gave power to his homies. He gave the power of God for them to go out and heal people, right? So because they didn't have confidence, they had the power, but they didn't believe that they can do it. They were not able to cast out devils. So they came back to Jesus, and and then they brought the people to Jesus, and Jesus did. He just did it. He just healed all the people that they couldn't heal, right? But they could heal, but they didn't believe it, so they didn't. They said, Jesus, how come we couldn't do it? He said, because some demons can only be destroyed by prayer and fasting. When you fast, that means that you have to starve yourself. That means not doing anything. So how y'all gonna be able to save somebody if you not stopping, like doing your sin, right? So you can't blame your partner or your family members, and you can't judge them and try to condemn them, because no, even if you wasn't having the same sin, you still don't got the right to do that, because only God gives the judgment. And Jesus says, why do you call me good? For no one's good but God. So he never exalted himself, even though we understood that he was God in the flesh. He still never made it about the man. He still never made it about the man. He made it about the higher supreme body of water. That's like if you got a little droplet of rain. The little droplet of rain is never going to convince you, oh, look, I'm the only body of water. You just the little thing. He said, I'm a part of the big body of water, and y'all are little droplets of rain, and I'm trying to take you to the whole ocean, which is God. You feel me? So what I'm trying to tell you is that a lot of those people, or a lot of those things that you're scared to lose, it's because you believe that they have something that you need. But the only thing you need is faith in a higher power called God. That is a good higher power that loves it. That is the only higher power that you need in order to live. And when you stop looking for it, it's going to come to you. That's why Jesus says, first seek the kingdom of heaven and all things will be added on to you. So I said, yeah, but I'm tired of being, I'm tired of this. I want to go out and get it myself. Don't you know, every time I did that, that person or that thing, it just later came back and said, and it showed me like, no, I do not need this. Or God will give me a sign like, you're too eager. But when I stop trying, people come over and talk to me, or things will just in ways that I can't explain it. You know what I mean? Just like how I lost my ID and I left it on top of my car, and then it fell out in my city on a random street, and out of all the people in the world, my mom's friend stumbles over it, and you keep having things happen like that. That's called spiritual confirmation. Also, when you read in the Bible, the New Testament, which is my favorite place to be in the New Testament, right? You will later think of scriptures without you even thinking about it. Every time you see something happen, and then a scripture just pop up in your mind. In the Old Testament and the New Testament, you thinking like, dang, because it's a spirit. It's spiritually inspired. That's why when you think about it, like, oh wow, you cross paths with somebody. Remember, Jesus had a friend named Judas Iscariot. He loved Judas, but Judas' ways was attached to the world. He was attached to materialism, money. That's why Judas sold him out. But he still loved him. It actually hurt him that when he found this out through God, it hurt him. When Isaiah and Moses came to Jesus in the spiritual form on the mountain, they told him what was going on, what he had to do, and Jesus was devastated. He was happy, but he was like, man, because he knew it was like, man, because you know how, like when you go to school, high school or college, you start ninth grade. You're like, oh man, I'm gonna be here for a while, Before you know it, you graduating. Now when y'all graduate, all your friends gonna part ways. Now everybody's crying and sobbing. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. See what I'm saying? I'm the same age right now that Jesus died, right? When people think, well, people say, it's not official, but people say that he died at 33, right? But I'm saying this, I'm 33. Now, God intended us to live at least 100 years, right? According to the Bible, right? Really, let me correct myself, because he really created us to be eternal, right? But what I'm saying is, Jesus, he was devastated because he realized he got to the end. See, a lot of us, you so caught up in the present time, you letting it rob you from enjoying the time instead of really just enjoying your life and not letting this one person or this one failure that you failed or messed up in or your mistakes, because you blaming yourself for things. You know what I mean? Like when people pass away, you blaming yourself. Oh man, I should have been there more. You out of pocket, because we talk about what they would have wanted in a physical form, but in a spiritual form, they would want you to be happy, and they just care about, oh, I hope you okay. I hope my baby's okay, or I hope my cousin or my brother, I hope that you okay. That's all they care about. They want you to continue on. They don't want you to be stagnant and still. Stagnant and still is equivalent to death. But there is a time where you have to die a spiritual death to be reborn again. That's the whole thing with the phoenix, right? Y'all know, like the mythological creature, the phoenix is a bird that's made of fire, right? And when it is so bright and it burns for so long, eventually it dies out and it burns out and it turns to ashes. And in that pile of ashes, it sprouts up, it lifts out of the ash and it's reborn again, a brand new flame. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all. And that's why it says in the Bible that we have to be quickened by Christ. But the only way you can be quickened by Christ is that you have to die a spiritual death. So when he was crucified, because he was a part of us and that was our heart, if you see a loved one being beaten and killed, that's killing you. So by his stripes, we're healed. That's the meaning of that. So when you get baptized and you go in the water and you come back up, that means you coming up a new person, a clean person. When all the desires that you had, that was nailed. That was okay. Put it to you like this: your hand hurt, right? That's like somebody twisted your arm. You like, this hurt, right? Dang, this hurt. Okay, so you already got a pain now. But okay, now your mom say, "Come here, baby." I'm just saying. I'm just giving an example because I know how y'all are out there. Like, oh man, that sounds violent. No, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying do this. Don't do this. I'm saying that's like your mom taking your arm that hurt, and then she takes like a hammer and she just bow right on your arm. You like, now that pain is greater, right? And it's gonna override the pain that you had. It's gonna make it hurt worse. But imagine it being so numb that you can't feel it, right? So when we're crucified with him, because we're one with him, if he's crucified, we die without dying. So whatever we felt like doing by our passions, sensations, like, oh, I feel like this, I feel like all that sinful stuff, that's dead and buried with him. Because Jesus was a real dude, man. Right? So, you know, when people, because a lot of people have been coming to me about people and relationships, like y'all scared to lose friends, man. I started loving fasting, not eating, living off of something and not depending off of it. Right? It makes me feel immortal. And it tells you to wear Jesus, to put on Christ, to be immortal, how death is defeated. He defeated Satan on the cross because Satan said, "Oh, I got the edge on you. I know what you're scared of. You're scared of death." And Jesus was like, "No, I'm not scared of losing this. What is this anyway? This is limited. And plus, we're going to die anyway. What's up?" Right? Because once you're not scared of losing and defeat, they don't got nothing on you. But if you're in a relationship with somebody or you got fake friends, it's like, oh, like treating you like you a sucker. Oh yeah, we ain't gonna mess with you no more. Or you might have a record deal and be an artist. Well, now they threatening to kick you off the label, or you might be a good mother or a good wife or a good husband, and then the person is treating you like you're some type of whore or something like that. You don't deserve that. And I know that a lot of y'all feel sad when I say this, but look, once you get over that, Jesus gives the example that you guys are crying now because you're going through tribulation, right? But just like a mother, when she goes through all of the travail and pain when she's delivering a child, when the child is born, that joy overrides all that pain that she just dealt with because she's just happy that she brought a new life into the world. Okay? So a lot of y'all might not get along with your partners, but you know what? The fact that you created the life, let that be the new covenant right there. If y'all don't believe in each other, at least know that the baby don't got nothing to do with y'all. It has something to do with y'all, but it's really a reflection of the love that y'all once had for each other. And it wasn't no mistake or no coincidence, because we don't believe in coincidences, because you throw a bottle in the air and you know it's going to come back down because of the laws of science, right? And physics. You believe in that law, but you don't regard the law of God. That's catting off. You a cat for that. That's what I'm saying. Y'all catting off because y'all look at this child and then y'all have a hatred for each other, right? You ain't got to agree with one another because people that agree with everything, something fake about it, you ain't gonna agree. And it's a blessing if you do find somebody that sees eye to eye a lot of things and the same as you do. That's a blessing. But ain't nobody no android. You feel me? So at the end of the day, stop blaming one another. Stop talking at people. Take accountability. That's another thing y'all don't like doing. If you do something wrong, say, I did that wrong, but I just felt like you did this wrong. I do my part. But see, a lot of us have friends and family and marriages where the other person don't take accountability. I dealt with that with friends, family, and a girlfriend, right? But now that I'm spiritually mature, never get mad at it because look, y'all don't owe me nothing. Because I'm okay. I'm okay with not having nothing. Because you know what? One day I'm gonna perish. And in fact, I'm already dead because Christ did that for me. So that I can be immortal and not live by necessities or any of that. Sometimes I be pissed off because I be hungry. Sometimes I'm pissed off that I feel like I gotta piss at night, and I got up because I drink a lot of water. All right, so I can get up during the night and go piss 3, 4, 5 times, and it pissed me off because I get tired of getting up pissing. Right? Maybe want to piss in the bed sometimes, but I don't do it. Why? Because I ain't trying to lay in my own piss. So, like I'm saying, I'm pissed off, man. And the point, I know a lot of y'all pissed off too. But you still gotta drain the lizard. You still gotta go piss, dump all of that toxin out of you. You feel me? And I be pissed off that I gotta do things as a human. But then I have times where I be out and there's things that's beautiful about humanity and life that brings a smile on my face, like a butterfly or the smile of a child, right? The happy laughter of a children, right? Or beautiful people or loving people, when you got a kind heart. Sometimes I be pissed off some days, and just when you pissed off, it's like God knows exactly when to send somebody to you, like, and then they make you feel good again. I know it's a lot of people at my job that make me feel like that, right? You know, it's something because it's like some people, when you come into their world, it's like the sun. It's like it was a gloomy day, and then you just see the sun just come out, and it feel good. You know, you feel like you was cold all the whole day, but now that the sun is out, you like, oh man, you just want to stay there. You know, that's how I feel like with some people at my job. You know what I mean? I feel that about people, and I just hope that I make people feel like that too. You guys are the sun. I mean it in both ways, right? I mean SON and SUN, and you guys are the daughters of God. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to tell y'all, never make somebody more important than yourself unless it's somebody like your children. Because the children, as it says in the Bible, that the parents always lay up for the children. The children don't lay up for the parent. But nowadays, because things are screwed up, you got a lot of shady stuff that's happening in households where the mothers are talking to the sons like they're not nothing when the sons never asked to be in this world, right? So the parents don't take accountability of that, and a lot of deadbeat dads out there. Some of them, they're not gone for certain reasons that we think they're not there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh, he just didn't want to come around. No, because the mother might be crazy as hell, and maybe he don't want to go around because of that. But some of them dudes ain't worth crack because they didn't have their parents there, or they didn't have somebody to teach them the importance of having being there for their child. The child did not ask to be there. Feel me? And then nobody wants to struggle. Whenever you see, you have, it's two different types of pain. There's meaningless pain, and then there's constructive pain. When you go to the gym or something, what you're doing is you're breaking muscle tissue and rebuilding it, and it grows back thicker and thicker. I learned that from doing martial arts, right? I did Aikido and I did Taekwondo, but I used to love watching these videos of people breaking the bricks. That's karate, right? And they show what happens. You have these little sticks in your bones that keep breaking and rebuilding to where once you do it for so long, it's almost like your bones are like Wolverine or something from the X-Men. It's like indestructible, like you're made out of antimonium, whatever it's called, right? And that's the thing what we got to keep doing. We got to keep breaking and rebuild, man, to grow. You feel me? So, you know, the constructive pain is what you're going through when you don't want to get up and go to work. You don't want to go to school because you know it's going to be converted to a blessing and a strength later. But meaningless pain is when you just like um taking an unnecessary abuse. You just taking things that you really can't convert over to nothing, like killing yourself slowly with self-hatred, bad thoughts, with OCD, like I was telling you guys. Like, you don't know why you're having these doubts and fears about things. That's just the devil. That's just the serpent hissing in your mind, saying, "Yeah, you know what?" And yeah, and also, what did that person mean when they said that? And also, man, if you was there, maybe that person would have never died so soon. And matter of fact, your kids hate you and this and that. That's all the suck ass Lucifer. That's all he do. He sit there because he ain't got nothing to do. He just a sucker, just sitting around like, shit. You know what? I ain't got shit to do. I ain't got no Netflix. I ain't got no PlayStation. Hey, who can I mess with today? Oh yeah, because I see she happy and shit. Yeah, so let me go over there. Oh yeah, he just got this job. I'm gonna send some mad driver his way to cuss him out later. Yeah, so you get road rage. Yeah, let's see how he reacts to that. But when you keep it good when you keep it G, you feel me? And you do the thing that Jesus would do, just temperance, which means endurance, right? You just keeping your composure. It's tempting you. Yeah, it's going to affect it. You're going to feel uncomfortable, but then you never give in because you true. You're the truth. The devil is the father of lies, right? So they always going to be like this. Sometimes I had allowed him to manipulate me because I let him, but he couldn't do nothing unless I approved of it. So you got the power. You got more power than his sucker self. So whenever you have these thoughts, you just tell yourself, Christ, I had a mind of Christ. I can't die. How you gonna kill something that's already dead? What's up? How you gonna kill something that's already dead? I already died with him on the cross, and he was resurrected and brought back to life. So that way, I'm alive in life. I'm living life. I'm living life because he already died and he was brought back for me to believe in by faith. And faith means trust. If you trust that you cannot die and immortal to these bad thoughts, OCD dies. It's like, no. It's like, oh, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. Then you say, yeah, you know what? It's saying, yeah, you're right. What's up? Just like what Jesus did. Yeah, what's up? Oh, yeah, you going to bring the cross to me? And look, the cross, look, it's like a lowercase t for truth, right? Oh, yeah, you going to bring the truth? Oh, come on. All right. They nailing him. He crying. All this stuff because that's his man side. But it prophesies about him in the Old Testament saying that, and he didn't open his mouth. He just took the nails. And you can talk about gangster. He the man. And that's why Satan a sucker. Do you think he gonna take the nails? No, he want to get the nails, but he don't want to take the nails because he a sucker. He been a sucker, right? But you still have to be a Christian, right? Which means even if Satan was by your side, you still don't um, trade evil for evil. If he punch you, you don't punch him. You want to be the living example because he want to make you into a replica of him because he just dookie head, right? So at the end of the day, Jesus, like, no, because I got my own style. I got my own style and I'm the best rapper here. And matter of fact, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going this way because I'm the physician that heals. Matter of fact, he say, hey, man, I'm going to pray for you. All love and blessings to the Father that he blesses you, right? And he even say, hey, I love you too, man. And I don't want you to just keep going down this hell road, but I'm going to pray for you. And all the devil's little minions, Jesus going to hope that they turn to good. Because even when you read the Bible, all the demons know Jesus' name. That's why they were so scared when they seen Jesus. They said, please spare me. Please spare my life. And the demon said, spare my life that I might go into these swine, the pigs, right? And Jesus said, all right, get out of here. That's what he did. He said, all right, get on. Go ahead. And then the demons just went into the pigs, and then the pigs was raised in hell, and then they went into the water and was destroyed. And then the people seen Jesus do that, and then they was upset. How you gonna do that to our pigs? Well, you shouldn't be eating swine anyway. That's number one. That ain't just a Muslim thing. But then at the end of the day, I ate bacon, man. But look, this is the thing. A lot of this stuff is they tell you in Acts that Jesus says that whatever I bless is clean. So Peter, there was a time where God told him to eat the hog just to show him that he was making a new covenant. The old covenant is put away. This is why today Jewish people, they don't like us Christians and New Testament believers. Not all the Jews. You have Messianic Jews who really just go into the thing as Christian, but then whatever. Anyway, I'm not saying that you have to. I don't like labels. I think that a lot of these people just adopted the name Christian or Jehovah's Witness or Islam or whatever. But really, it's just the teachings of the Bible. The Bible is just the Bible. The Bible never told anybody to make different sects like Catholic, Orthodox Church, or all of this stuff. People did that. And you can't let people steer you away from the teachings of the Bible because it would seem like some things contradict each other in the Bible, but it actually doesn't, because what Jesus brought is, it says in the Bible that he brought a better covenant to free us from the law. All we had to do is love one another. You would think like, what? That's easy to do because that's what we like doing anyway. But yet we really fell in to do that. Okay, I want to go back to talk about being alone, because being alone, you are getting stronger. But you don't have to stay in a cubicle you call a room in solitude, just rotting away. If you feel like you need help to talk to somebody, go get it, because Jesus will want you to do that. He wouldn't want you to just stay there. But there is a time where he himself had to go away and like keep to himself and think about things and reflect. And then sometimes it's a time where you don't reflect about it. You don't reflect at all. You go out to the water, you look at the water, let it clear your mind, get some fresh air, work out, do some push-ups, do some things that make you feel good. If you want to just do what I'm doing, like make a podcast about something, that's fine too. You know what I mean? But just stay positive and stay true, and always know that you're carrying a cross. You're doing things for other people too. Like a lot of people, they don't want to help people. You can get burnt out helping people, but just, you don't got to give $100 all the time when you out giving people money. If you want to spare money to the poor, what you do is just give a little bit, just to show like, hey, I ain't got $20 a day, but I can give you $1. That puts you $1 closer to your goal. You just gotta go get the other 19 somewhere else, But I'm gonna help you. So that's paying alms, right? Cause see, what I do is I burnt myself out. Where person asked me for $20, I'm gonna try to give him, just to make him, because I love seeing that look on their face, like when they, oh, you like, man, wow, really? Why? Because you worth it, bro. Just because you out here, you homeless, you don't have any place to go. I could easily been you. Matter of fact, I was you because my house burnt down 2017. And I thought that was it. But God kept working and he got me here now. And I don't regret any of it, because I wouldn't have the knowledge of the things that I know now to give it to you. It's like a street with potholes. I can put that black tar down, and I can be your cornerstone so you can cross over. Just like Jesus created intercession for us to know God. He helped us cross over to the other side. So that's what we got to be for each other, man. And stop allowing people to disrespect you. You don't got to go back and forth with them, but you can dismiss and separate yourself. Do it like someone with class, and do it with somebody that has self-respect and loves God and Jesus. Because Jesus, the fact that you didn't throw hands, you didn't cuss anybody out, you didn't get mad at people, he is going to reward you. Now, you don't know when or with what, but it ain't just one reward. He's going to reward you eternally. But you got to be okay with not having, and you got to be okay with not feeling okay, because he also was known as the man of sorrows. There's a story in the Bible that talks about King Solomon. It was a king who he was dealing with a lot of women from different nations, right? That were worshiping idols. And instead of him being the leader, he was being the follower, and he was worshiping all the idols of these other women, because they were some beautiful women. You know how it is, man. Hey, I see them all the time. It'd be beautiful Asian women where I work. It'd be beautiful Ethiopian women. It'd be beautiful everything. It'd be beautiful white women I be seeing, right? But the thing is, you don't know what they be into. So just imagine what Solomon was doing. He was getting his player pimp on. But then that ain't good. It's not good to pimp and all that stuff. It's actually, Jesus don't play that. He would say, hey man, you need to stop doing that, man. So because he was sinning and he had a lot of what they call harlots. So they call these girls harlots. So he had two harlots, right? Which is what they would call whores or whoredom. But there was a lot of harlots in the Bible that actually did righteous works because they turned away from that wickedness. And then they helped people escape from the hand of evil kings, right? Like Rahab, I believe her name was Rahab. And there she was talked about in the book of Hebrews, right? But she turned away from her wicked ways or helped, right? So there's a lot of people that you might have done bad, but don't condemn yourself because Jesus, he was kicking it with the sinners. Because the sinners, yeah, they did wrong, but they were humble. But then you had these goody two shoes people who were just high priests. Yeah, we do everything. We do the rituals, we do all this stuff. But then they didn't have no love for Jesus in their hearts. And if you don't love your brethren, how can you love God? So they were hypocrites. They said, did you wash your hands before you eat? How come you and your disciples don't wash your hands? And Jesus says, you a hypocrite because the outside of your cup is clean, but the inside of your cup is dirty. And they got mad at him because he was saying, yeah, you look clean and shiny on the outside, but you like dead tombs. You're like tombs with dead bodies. You look pearly white on the outside, but inside you just dead bones, right? So that's the thing. But going back to the story, so it was a king, and that king had two harlots or concubines, right? But really they were girls that he was just sleeping with. Okay. Those girls, they both had children. They both had babies, right? One of the harlots ended up rolling over on her child and suffocating the child in his sleep. And so she killed the child by accident. So she got upset. And she was so sad that she tried to take the child from the other woman. And now these two women are fighting over the child. And then the king hears the commotion. He comes in the room. What's going on? And she says, she's trying to steal my child because she killed her own child by mistake, by rolling over on the baby. So then the king like, because he can't tell whose baby it is because they probably look alike. They probably sisters. Who know? But then the king say, man, you know what? And then God put the spirit in him. Say, oh, okay, I know how to find out. Y'all ain't gonna tell me. And I definitely don't know who baby it is because it look like it could be both of y'all, baby. So, okay. And he told his partner, hey, bro, give me that sword right there. And then now the girl's eyes got big. Like, oh, no, what? Wait a minute, what you gonna do? It's like, oh, dog, y'all don't want to tell me who it is? All right. So I'm gonna take this sword and I'm gonna give you one half of the baby and give you the other half. And then now they, oh no, oh. So now they pulling the baby, stretching the baby screaming, they screaming, and they arguing with each other. But the way he knew that whose baby it was, a true mother cannot bear to see her baby die. So the mother, it touched her heart so much that she ended up letting the baby go because she knew that the woman was not going to do it. So she let the child go and she said, hun, I'll just let the baby go and she can have the baby. I can't watch this. He took the baby from that lady that wouldn't let go and gave it to her. That's how he knew that it was her child. And then everybody was amazed and they because they knew it was God's judgment that was in Solomon to do this. And they praised God. And so what I'm telling you is that if it's meant to be yours, go ahead and let the person go. Go ahead. If it's meant to be and they love what's true for you, they'll come back. If it's meant to be yours to have a job, it'll be yours. But if it's not, don't pout about it. Just know that God got something greater for you. So I love y'all, man. And this is the episode I'm doing for the day. And love and light, man. And I definitely had some pictures on here to show of just different things. That's a sucker. Right, he a sucker and been a sucker. And he know, yeah, I see you looking. You know exactly what you doing, dookie head. But that's all right, because you know what Jesus would have did. He said he'd have kissed him, right on their head, went like that. Said, all right, now do right, right? You get him like this and say do right and get up out of here, man. So that's what he'd have done. Then look, walking on the water, walking on the water. All right, this is a random picture of a galaxy. All right, but look. Okay, now this is another story that I don't think y'all know about. The brass serpent. I'm gonna talk about that because serpents were also known as wisdom, and Jesus says, because even though serpents were supposed to be the devil, right? But it's symbolic to man. So Jesus said he prophesies how he's gonna be lifted up on the cross, but then he says like just as Moses lifted up the brass serpent, so shall the Son of Man be lifted up. So when you saying like, well, was Jesus saying that he's the serpent? No, but he was saying that the flesh, his body, is symbolic to being the serpent because they said in Revelations that man's number is 666, is the same number as the beast because we're flawed. And this happened when Adam had failed and followed Eve to bite into the fruit that God told him not to bite into. I'm going to get into that the next episode. Okay, so solitude. Just spend the time to be by yourself and really reflect what's good for you in your life. Anything that's not good for you, you got to let it go like a bad habit. If Jesus did it and he was good at being alone, look at him, man. That expression, whoever painted this was a good painter because, you know, even though it's a graven image and you're not supposed to make images about Jesus because for a lot of reasons, because people can turn away if they don't like a certain image. And it's blasphemous because God created us in his image, but we're not supposed to make image of the high son or the most high God. But forgive us, Father. We thank you for our lives. We forgive us for our sins, and we love you and guide us in the right path for Yeshua. To you, God. Amen. Praise Yahweh. And I want to say to you guys, I pray that everybody's in good health and love. In the name of Yeshua, in the glory of Yahweh. And I pray that you guys stay happy in Jesus Christ and have strength in him. Amen. Um, you gotta be okay with being in a deserted place like this picture, and you have to be okay with being like in a solitude of having nothing and lonely and desolation, because through that you'll get stronger, and once you're independent, you won't be dependent on anything. Because whatever you're dependent on, that thing it becomes equivalent to God. Because then you're saying that your life depends off of it, and that's like saying that that thing is your soul when it's not. It's actually you. It's actually God. Because because we're living is because God is in us. That's why we can breathe in and out. That's why we are functional doing all of this, because God is in us, and we're all one. Because Elohim translates to gods as plural, but we know that we come together as a singular thing, which is in Christ Jesus, which is the Jehovah in the flesh. Now, I'm about to close this out, y'all. Love and light. And yeah, I'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.